Hello, today we'll be looking at another way to modify a selection using the Refine Edge tool. A little bit more powerful than what I've shown you in the past, but it can do a really good job pretty quickly. We'll be using this dog today for a dog food ad. You've gotten a call from a client, he's got a lot of dog food he needs to move, so we will put an ad together for him. I'm going to use the quick selection tool and make a quick selection of the dog. I just want, for the most part, his head and his chest. I don't want the tail and the hindquarters. I'm going to add just a little bit to the selection here to make sure I get a lot of this color and finish this up down here just a little bit. I'll take down this area just a little bit to give myself a little bit smoother of an edge. Maybe just bring it up just a tad. And we'll start with that. That looks pretty good. Now we'll use the Refine Edge tool. This is a very powerful tool. There are several different sections of this. First, we'll look at the view mode. You have several different options as far as how to view your selection. You have marching ants, overlay, on black, on white, black and white, and a couple others. I like overlay because it lets me see through to the background just a little bit. The next section is edge detection. This allows you to decide how far out from your original selection you want Photoshop to start picking up little elements to your selection. Right now the radius is 0. You can see where it's a pretty hard edge. This is what I selected earlier. And if I start pushing this radius, you can see how all of a sudden little hairs start to pop up. I can push it a little bit further, and you can see how there's even more hairs now that Photoshop has decided are important. It's a radius of 84 pixels. There's a lot of subtleties that it's picked up. The next section, adjust edge. The smoothness oftentimes will take away some of the very fine hairs, or if you have jagged edges. If we take it all the way up to the top, you can see because most of these hairs are fairly smooth, it's not doing a whole lot. To feather the selection, you're going to make those actual edges of the selection softer. So you can see if I bring it up, all of a sudden you can see it's starting to get pink. The selection is getting a little bit softer. And even from here, 4 pixels, you can see how between there and this, these edges are just a little bit harder. I'm going to leave it at 0 for this. I like the hard edges here. Contrast. This will make the edge even harder. If I start to bring this up, you can see how it's adjusting what is important. It's losing some of these very fine hairs and it's giving me a harder edge. Shift the edge. If I want to get a little bit less of these hairs and make a smaller selection, I shift to the left and you can see how the selections come in. If I want it to expand it, I can shift to the right. And you can see now how we're picking up a little bit more of the grass and some of the hair. I will leave it at 0. Now we'll look at the output. You will have several different options. I will keep it at selection. Now, one of the things that may happen sometimes is you will have some color bleeding through some of the areas. This did a pretty good job of selecting what I wanted, so I don't necessarily need to decontaminate the colors. If you have a big difference between the background you're pulling an image from and the background you're placing an image on, you may want to consider using it. So I will hit OK. I'm going to copy it, Command C. I will pull up my dog food ad, paste the dog into the ad, Command V, hit the move tool to put this right where I want. I'll crop in a little bit more. And there you go. Hopefully this will sell a lot of dog food for Bob. Hopefully this worked for you. More to come.